Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Peet from Trusta Labs. So today I will introduce our product called Trusta Account Protocol. The purpose is to extend account abstraction on StarkNet with risk management and flow monitoring in a decentralized way. So as Argent friends has presented that the fraud detection and the monitoring is very important for users to to enter the Web3 world. So you have been very familiar with the problem of the EOA account. So the reason is they decoupled the account with the key pairs very tightly. So that means you lose your key, you lose everything. So let me compare this with your assets in your house. So you have the key for your house. You lose your key, you lose your whole house. So that is make no sense. The reason is in EOA account, they couple the account with the key pair very tightly. So that means if you have there's no access control, that means that you have only one key, and this key only relevant to the whole house. There's no access control for each rooms. And also it's only one kind of key. There's no fingerprint key, there's no other keys. So that's the reason why people feel very difficulty when they use the MetaMask. As mentioned that especially the authentication is tightly coupled with the account. So there's no separate security layer in between when you do the transaction. So each transaction need to be signed, no matter it's a cheap NFT or a very large amount of token. You use the same transaction, same signature. So that is not secure, but also it's not secure and not convenient for people. So let's see how Visa and Alipay has done in the transaction processing. So when you do the online payment, you buy a clothes on chain, and when you do the transaction, actually the merchant will issue the payment request to the issuers. So Visa will have the authentication service called 3D Security 2.0. That means they will collect all data from the merchant, Visa, to the issuer. The issuer will do the authentication service. They will evaluate the risk of each transaction. So when the risk is lower, actually no need password. You just input your card numbers. The transaction is go ahead. But they found the risk, the transaction risk is higher. They will issue another challenge, such as you have to do the OTP challenge. So that guarantee most people have a very smooth experience when do the transaction. So according to the statistic, more than 95% of the transaction no need password. Just you input the card number and everything is smoothly. Only the 5% need a second challenge. You need to do the OTP of the mobile phones. So that's balance not only the security but also the experience. It's very similar for Alipay when do the mobile payment, because we are from the Alipay before. So we did a lot of work to the risk evaluation using a lot of data and using a lot of rules and machine learning to evaluate the risk of each transaction. And we will give better experience when we found it's a trusted transaction. Actually, we will do the very fast QR code payment. No need password, no need any OTP. You just scan your QR code, it's done. So it's very extreme experience. But when we found the transaction is high risk, so we will issue another authentication for to verify whether the people is the people who came to. So we will use the Face ID, we will use the fingerprint, we also use the face to do the second verification. So that guarantee the bad guy, the transaction from the bad guy will be prevented, and the good guy will go smoothly. So in sense, the authentication is decoupled from the mobile, from the car account as a very, as a very separated security layer. So this layer play a very important role in give the user better transaction experience, but also the mitigating the fraud. So in Web3, actually, we have no such layer of the security to do the authentication, to do the risk evaluation. So for Trusta Labs, we want to build up this layer to give the bank level is something like Visa transaction processing. We want to provide the bank layer security with the real-time fraud monitoring, as well as the seamless payment experience like the Alipay, like a Visa. So that will be more dynamic and real-time evaluation for a transaction. So how to do that? So without the abstract account abstraction, we can do nothing. We can do nothing. But the account abstraction explore the new design space because everything can be designed by smart contract. So we will do that. We will use a real-time risk management. We will implement that in the smart contract based on the account abstraction. So StarkNet is the support the AA from the protocol layer, so we can do that easily. So in summary, we will implement 3 core components. One is the multi-factor authenticator. That's with not only the mobile but also biometrics authentication, which will give user more better experience. And also, the most important is our AI-powered risk engine that will compute and evaluate the probability of the fraud of the transaction. So that will have a lot of, we will leverage a lot of on-chain data and off-chain data to evaluate how much probability of the risk of the transaction. And then we will issue the multi-factor authentication. As well, the role-based access control, which is prevalence in Web3 financial institutes, also be used in this case. So all things will be implemented by contract account based on the StarkNet. So I give you 2 use cases when you have the protocol. With the protocol, wallet like PayPal, like Alipay, can be very easily built with a very strong risk engine. That means it can be applied to some Web3 games which need more experience than the security. For example, when new user come into your app, no need password, just log in, just come play games. One can have a lot of NFT. When they mint NFT, if we found the transaction is low risk, we can use the session key to send once, to do once signature and to get all things done. So it's more about a better experience. But for other apps like the DeFi, they need more security. So this protocol will also support this scenario, but we will also do the risk evaluation for each user, for each transactions. For example, when Alice just log in to query the assets, we found that it's a trusted transaction. We asked Alice just do OTP only. And if we found Bob, they want to do the swap of the large amount of token. So it's found that it's a high risk and high value. We will do the 2-factor authentication, not only the face, but also the OTP. to verify whether the people is the good guy. And also we will have the access control within the engine. So when the Charlie do some withdrawal of the transaction, we found they have no access for this privilege. We will refuse the transaction. So with the account protocol, we can support different kind of use cases and different kind of the apps in one protocol. So finally, I will introduce my team, and I actually from Alipay for more than 9 years, focus on the risk management and the fraud detection. So as you know that we have billions of users, we have billions of transactions. So we have a very strong AI-powered risk engine behind the Alipay. So our team building that engine using AI models and rules. So we want to apply this technology into the Web3 world. So we actually started last October, and only with several months, we have launched the first product, not for account stolen, but for the simple attack detection. So we also get a champion of the hackathon and launched the first industry simple risk score product. So I will very quickly demo the product. So here is the TransScan for the simple prevention solution. And we have analyzed more than 170 million of the addresses. And we will evaluate the score of the addresses for symbol. And then we found that more than 1 million of the symbols in the blockchain. And this algorithm will run every day. So new addresses will be detected, new symbol will be detected. And when we start from, we can query each addresses for his score. For example, here is the wallet address from the Arbitron. And you can see that the risk score is very high. The reason we can divide it into 5 dimensions, such as the bulk operation, risk, such as the similar behavior sequence. So from this UI, you can see that these addresses will distribute a set to a lot of other addresses. So it's a very, very special pattern to prepare the assets. And also, the address have other addresses very similar sequence of the on-chain transaction. So we found that's the reason why the address has very high risk score. So we will apply this to other scenario like this. This has the very similar network patterns, and we detected so that this address is very high symbol attack. So more important is the network like this. In order from one address to distribute assets to other address in same way is by a chain link network. So according to the AI, we can detect such patterns and to find the symbols. So you can try this product by yourself to query any addresses using our UI, and you can see how probability of is a symbol attack. So we will, in future, we will apply the technology we have using the other scenarios like the account takeover as well as the scams to build up the fraud detection and monitoring using the account abstraction. Yeah, we think that with the protocol, we will make the wallet very low barrier. It's very easier to build to have a more Web2 users to come into Web3 world easily and more safely. Thank you, everyone.